Hey, it's the Scotch Test Dummies, and this is my last quick hitter of 2020. I think, unless something crazy happens before the end of the year. So again, for those that haven't tuned in, do I have a fresh glass? Yes, I do. I will take samples sent to me by you guys. If you want to send me something, email me at bart@scotchtestdummies.com, and I'll tell you what I need. Basically, at that point in time, you send it to me. I put it on a shelf. It's got a bunch on there. I will try it blind. Play with your whiskey, see what it is. Now, with this December edition, the end of 2020, I'm also adding in stories for the year, mostly trying stories. This one will be me actually catching the Rona. Scott did as well. I'll let him tell his own story. His taster's still not fully back, but I end up catching it. And I didn't even get it through the job, I don't believe. I'm about 98% sure my 11-year-old son gave it to me. We'll come back to that in a second. Let's see what I got on the nose. I believe the 11-year-old gave it to the whole family. So, nose is like a Scotch, but it's really light and feathery. I'm going to guess a Speyside. I get a little bit of like green apple, maybe a touch of sugar, and that's about it. So we'll sip this in a second, but I'll just tell you, it was sometime in November. It's a Thursday. The school says, hey, your son has a bit of a runny nose. He has Down syndrome, the 11-year-old. And he has a slight temperature. I'm not sure the hat's on totally square, but it's not at 100.4. It was like 99.8 or something. And the teacher's great and said, hey, you just want to kind of monitor him, because if he ends up 100.4, you either got to keep him home 14 days or go get him tested. We're like, got it. So my wife Liz decides, you know what, he does have a bit of a runny nose. Looks like he has a cold. He actually catches a lot of colds due to, we think, small station tubes or whatnot. So we decide, or she decides, hey, I'll stay home with him Friday and won't send him to school. Just let him get healthy. Good call. I go to work. Everything's fine. Now, again, we believe that is not a cold. That is actually probably COVID, or it is COVID, because he tests positive later. I wear a mask at work. I do have lunch with a coworker that is pretty confident he gets it from me, and then it stops there, thank goodness. And I come home, though, and I get what I call a guaranteed exposure. I go to check on the young lad, and he's real good about covering when he sneezes, not so good when he coughs. And I come up close, how you doing, buddy? And he kind of coughs like right in the face, and my mouth's a little open. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to catch the cold. Still thinking it's a cold. Let my wife know. She goes, he did the same thing to me. My 13-year-old says, that happened to me as well. And my 13-year-old says, my mouth was even a little open. I'm like, me too. Me too. We're all going to get a cold. Come Sunday, my spouse and I wake up with a little bit of a cough and a little tickle in the throat. Still feels like a cold. And I think my son's got a bit of a runny nose, so we're all thinking cold. Come Monday, I feel like 24-hour flu. I actually call Scott, say, hey, what did you feel like when you got the Rona? He says, just a head cold. I said, I've got none of that, but I got this cough and a little bit of a sore throat. I'm feeling more flu-like. He says, well, I am hearing there's a flu going around too. And he says, hey, I still don't have taste and smell back. You guys know he still doesn't fully. And I said, no, I got all that. And he says, okay, well, meanwhile, the oldest son is at school, and they call us at like 1 o'clock and go, hey, he just finished some state assessments, but he's got a migraine, he's got a cough, and he says he feels terrible. And he's running 100.5. Got to come get him. Told my wife, I feel terrible. I can't go get him. She gets him. She's not feeling good. She has to get him mandatorily tested. She does. The next morning they call and say he has COVID. I'm like, what? What? So then we all get tested, and all of us, the youngest, my wife and I, we all have COVID. Now the good thing is, we just need to quarantine within the house because we all got it. So there's no segregation of in your room or not in your room or downstairs, not upstairs, whatever. We all got it already. Wow. We're pretty sure patient 0 was Seth, our youngest. That's okay. Here's the other deal. Both those boys were running around within 3 days like they had nothing. Nothing. I had a weird deal where the first day was bad or Monday was bad. Then I felt good, but then the fatigue kicked in for the next 3 or 4 days, and I had body aches, and I could tell there was inflammation. And I couldn't work much. I wasn't going to work, but I couldn't even vacuum. I got tired vacuuming. What? I had to water some shrubs I'd planted the week before. Exhausted. What? Then the taste and the smell went. Wife and I, gone. What? It was a bunch of whats. Luckily, at day 10, all that comes back. My wife danced like a jig. She had some pink lemonade and goes, I can taste it. I can taste it. And I tried it and said, still nothing. Got it the next day. So we'll watch Scott, hopefully do that soon. Let's get back to this. That was me with COVID. We'll circle back. 2020, like a battle. Like a battle. Oh, wow. Tons of flavor. What is this? Vanilla all over the place. Creamy popcorn. Oh, cream all over this. So this feels like a sweet bourbon. What is this? This is delicious. Wow. Holy moly, that is like, it's kind of like a sugary syrup vanilla extravaganza. The ABV actually seems a little high. I'd put it at 50. I don't know what this is. I'm going to put a little water in here. I don't want to. That vanilla explosion is impressive. I love vanilla. This is like that strong Mexican vanilla. Wow. Now, there's not a lot of other. I don't get any wood influence, but that's fine, though. I'm not as much on the oak. Sugar. Popcorn. And again, vanilla. It's almost like kettle corn. Wow. We'll come back and talk about COVID here in a second. What is this? Oh, lordy. Clan Denny? Cameronbridge. Grain whiskey, 25-year, 50%. Clan Denny. Cameronbridge, 25-year. Cameronbridge grain whiskey. So, here's one of the deals. Anybody that turns their nose up at blendeds, think Johnny Walker Green. I love Johnny Walker Green. With the different grains that are mixed in, you get some creamy goodness with those. And boy, oh boy, am I getting some beautiful creamy popcorns here, telling me that there's got to be a lot of corn going on in this. Wow. 25 years old. Very delicious. Wow, that was impressive. Don't turn your nose up to grain whiskey, especially when it's 25 years old. Compass Box has been doing a lot of beautiful things with grain whiskey. Man, is the finish in that. The finish is just sweet and popcornish. Wow. That's interesting. Who sent me this? The Beeve. Thank you, Beeve. Keep them coming. You do great. whenever we get your floods of samples, it's a glorious day, Beaver. Glorious. All right. So, wow, this is great. Again, I can't say it enough. Clan Denny, Cameroon, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right. Cameronbridge 25-year grain whiskey, 50% ABV, and COVID. Here's probably the thing. Catching it was a little scary because we have a nurse who's a respiratory therapist that lives next door. And she said, hey, I know you guys are feeling better. Please pay attention to your respiratory over the next 7 to 10 days. If you feel like you're got pneumonia type symptoms, don't hesitate to go to the hospital and get yourself checked out. Made us both a little nervous. The kids, again, were great, running around up and down the stairs screaming, and I'm going, hey, my hair hurts. My eyeballs hurt. Quit talking. I had this idea because luckily with my job, you could take 14 days administrative leave if you had COVID, and it's not even hitting your regular leave. I thought, I'll catch up on some reading. My follicles of my hair hurt. My eye sockets hurt. I couldn't read for like a week. I was like, God dang it. I just sat there. It was terrible. I was like, is this what 95 would feel like? Sorry if you're 95 or 6 or above. But I was like, this is terrible. Again, that broke after the first week. But, the fatigue. So, again, no politics, but I'll get the vaccination when it comes. The only thing I'm going to ask them is, hey, I had it. Confirmed had it. As long as that doesn't mess anything, give me the inoculation because I don't want it again. Now, I know an inoculation doesn't guarantee you won't get a different strain or whatever, but holy moly, give me future biotech. All right? If they could put nanobots in here that would kill the COVID, I would take it. And if they make me superhuman, I'd do that too. When it hits that part of the video, Bruno Scott pauses it and calls me and says, you're a dork. And I go, yes. Yes, I am. Big time. You should see me on the board game show. Hello. All right. So the note from here is, try to stay away from Corona. It's not fun. Be careful. Take care of yourself. Use it as a period of time to get into shape. My wife and I actually went out and walked the neighborhood a lot. And we found, I have no medical knowledge, but just getting the sun and the release of like vitamin D felt great for whatever worth. Maybe it was the exercise too, being outside, fresh air. And again, it was kind of a nice time. We were both afflicted. We were afflicted. And do not dismiss the grain whiskey. It is delicious, creamy, and in this case, popcornish goodness. Scotch it, you Scotch gods. I may finish this right now. So long, you dummies.